Hey, it's Hutch, and today we're going to talk about trying to time bottoms and the danger in that, as well as some alternative when you're trying to dollar cost average in and especially accelerate that with dips like we're having now. So let's flip it to Luna. And take a look. Actually, it's over here. So this is the same daily chart on Luna. You can see a little bit stronger of a chart, higher highs, higher lows most of the times, and then coming up and breaking out of this $55 level and making all-time highs. Truth be told, I was dollar cost averaging since about here. It's somewhere in here. When it got listed on Coinbase Pro. Wish I was early as a lot of my Luna friends over here, but dollar cost average the whole way through. I'm going to show you my limit order technique that I use because you just can't ever time the bottom. You're going to go crazy trying to do it. It's a fool's game. I have a friend when this happened and then this happened in one day, talk about a scam wick. We had a talk beforehand. Like he goes, I think I'm going to try and sell it high and then buy it lower when it was coming down throughout this day. And I tried to talk him out of doing it. I guess at 3 a.m, he sold here at 55, which he probably didn't know about support and resistance. This is old all-time high resistance. And a lot of times that flips to old support. You can see touch, right? Breakthrough, almost touches on the way back down. Scamwick kind of does a fake out to the downside and then bounces above it. And lo and behold, we are right here. So congestion areas are one place I definitely look to set limit orders, because whether or not you believe in technical analysis, line drawing, charting, support and analysis, whether or not you think it's a bunch of hooey or not, that well, the truth is a lot of people trade around it. So it almost kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning if enough people are trading around it like it's real and more people start selling here because it's a top and they think it's resistance, and more people are selling than buying, what happens to stuff? And then when it breaks out and people realize, oh, wow, old resistance becomes new support, and this is a new floor, and they're trying to get in before the breakout, and more people are buying that breakout than selling it, what happens? And again, now when we come back down to the old support level, I don't think it's an accident that we bounce right here on a pretty ugly looking precipitous dropping red candle. I don't know if this is the bottom. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if we start going back into the old region of new lows, but I'm not surprised that it's stalling out here. And I wouldn't be surprised too if it bounced and we came right back up. Nobody knows. But anyway, going back to my friend, he sold right about here, and then it went down and he felt great. And then very quickly it shot back up. And then he thought he was buying back in. He hadn't done a lot of trading. He was buying and holding like I told him to do, to be a hodler, because just like that old post, if you've ever wondered why crypto people say hodl and not hold, it's from an old drunken rant. There was a post. I'll put the link to it in the chat. It's very cool. But he just said, I'm not good enough to be a trader, and they'll take my money, and the only way I can beat them, the only way I can keep them from taking my money is just to hold. And he talks about zero-sum games and everything else. But my friend thought he ended up buying here, like, well, whatever. I just want my Luna back. I was wrong. And it turned out he placed a limit order instead of a market order. And since Luna was going up so fast, he placed this limit order at 61, and then it shot up so much. And he called me the next day and said, hey, where's my Luna? I did what I did, and I know you said what you said, but I tried to buy it back, but I don't see my Luna. I see money on orders. And he was like devastated. So you don't want to get caught up in that trying to, well, I'm just going to sell what I had and try and buy it lower. I mean, listen, if you're that good, more power to you. I'm not. The original hodler isn't. And with something like Luna, I don't know if you want to be trying to time the market when having exposure to an apex asset, almost like an apex predator, is arguably more important. Before I do, I'm just going to share a couple tweets. I love this tweet by Lego Makers. It was when Luna was, both these tweets I'm going to show you was when Luna had fallen from the 40s back to the 30s. And it said, I bought the Luna top in March when it was $20. Now people are dying for it to go back to that level. Waiting for a dip should be a privilege for those that are already allocated. The risk of not being allocated is too high when it comes to Apex assets. So if that's you, and again, none of this is financial advice, and everybody has to do their own research about what assets to buy and what price level. But if you saw that Luna broke into the top 10 and you started studying the tokenomics and you understand that there's a lot of, first of all, like fundamentals, that TVL, the total value locked, flipped Solana, even though in market cap, Terra didn't flip Solana, and the fact, the amount of developer activity, the amount of projects coming to Luna, and just the clean and easy user interface, and the deflationary tokenomics, meaning there's only a limited supply, and it is also being burned as more of the Terra's native stablecoin UST is being burnt, and I'll have some information about that in the chat. But if you've studied all this and Luna shot up to the 70s and now we're in the 50s and you're trying to time the absolute bottom, maybe you want to do my limit order technique. Another way to look at it, this tweet by Adam here, I got in on ETH right before it hit its stride. Whether it's 350 or 390, I don't really know. Keep in mind, ETH has fallen into the high 3000s right now. So he's talking about a 10x, and it was all the way up to 48, I think it's some 4,800 at some point. So he continues, as a matter of fact, it doesn't matter now. What I say, why I say that is trying to time a buy on Luna now makes little difference. Just ape in. Again, he's not offering financial advice either, but I'm just showing you this to provide some context. So going back to my limit order strategy, I'm going to pull out some, I'm going to draw some lines together. And I'm not a professional. I love it. People call it TA. People are technical analysis, professional line drawers. And I'm not a professional line drawer. But again, you can see this one that's drawn automatically. We're right at a major congestion zone. And that's an area that I have and do put in limit orders. And what I like to do is I like to stagger them in different areas. So you can see, actually, let's just, before we draw, you can see, obviously, this is a major area. This is an all-time high. There's a lot of sell walls here because people don't know if we're going to break it. But on the buying side, we can see that, this is obviously an area of resistance. When it came down the mid-60s and even, this area in the mid-60s, there was a lot of buying that happened. You can see it was old resistance, broke out, fell through, shot through, but then this area of congestion in the mid-60s held true. We kind of fell below it a little bit, shot back above it. Again, you can see this little wick here. We retested it here. We retested it here. Again, these are 4 hours. Broke out, came down, retested. So this would be a place, obviously we're below that now, but this is like an area of congestion that I'm looking at. And I don't want to miss my opportunity. So I might put one there, one there, one there. Like, let's just say I wanted to get 30 Luna. I might go 10, 10, 10 in this little area because we don't know if we're going to get like that long scam wick, or it's not even a scam wick, but that long wick or that little wick. So I don't know if I'm going to get filled. We can see down here in the low 60s, we kind of have the same thing. A lot of congestion here. Right? We flagged, we broke out, we tested this 61, 61, 46, 61, 61, and then came out, fell through it. You can see as we shot back above it for a while here, it's like, oh, we're not going to make it right here at the 61, shot above it, lots of congestion here. So this little mid 60 area and the low 60s area, again, I might stagger, and we've already fallen through it now, but I'm just saying if you were watching all-time highs, I might stagger a series of limit orders. Like, let's say I wanted to get 40 Luna. I might go 10, 10, 10. CFI, who, by the way, if you're not following CFI, awesome member of this community, does tons of free Twitter spaces that he could charge tons of money just to participate because they're so good and there's so much of the lunatic brain trust contributing. But CFI likes to do it logarithmically and exponentially. I call it the Martingale technique. Martingale was with Vegas. People would bet $100, and if they lost that, they bet $200. And if they lost that, they bet 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 until they got their unit, and then they do it again, and they get however many units. So, obviously that can get kind of crazy, and there's been stories of people who just go totally broke doing Martingale. But the lower it gets, the deeper it is. So maybe it's like in that 30, maybe it's a 5, maybe it's a 10, maybe it's a 15, something like that in this little mini tranche. And then he might go more here. Instead of 30, he might go 60 down here at this area that we're at here, where he might go 60, where it's 10, 15, 25. Did we get to 60? No. And then I do this sometimes where the small possibility, like I might stack them this way, almost like a trapezoid. And it's like, I don't even know if it's going to get here. And I hate it when that one doesn't get filled. So I might make that a small one again. It's all personal preference. Again, none of this is investment advice, but let's look at where we're at now and some of these levels to come. So if you were watching Luna and you wanted a dollar cost average in, or you have some and you want some more exposure, I might just market buy here, because we've seen that it was a scam wick before. Hopefully these will turn out to be scam wicks. Hopefully we don't make another big one where we just bounce at this prior kind of all-time high level. That if we go back to if we go back to the day, I think we touched a couple of times here, right, at this 54.63, and it took a while before we had to come down and consolidate over Thanksgiving and shoot through to the all-time highs, and everybody was celebrating. Before that, notice it was in this kind of high 40s, right, this kind of mid to low 50s, high 40s. Below that, there's a mid 40s. Like this whole area was like, we just can't do it. We can't even get to these new all-time highs. And same thing, we fell down like this kind of mid 40s. And then down here, this is really important because this is where we double bottomed over Thanksgiving at this kind of 38 level. And for those of you that borrow on Anchor who have to get more Luna, this is where I currently have my LTV set right now. A lot of people go by percentages. I actually look for price levels rather than pick just a percentage. Like I like 40% LTV. I like 30. I like 35. I actually find a kind of a level that I'm comfortable with, and I might borrow up to that level. To be honest with you, at 38 here, I'd sure like to see it under 35. You can look, there's a lot of congestion here, here, used to be an all-time high for a while here. So I would like to get it actually even under this 32. I mean, you can just keep going and going, right? Here's the 28, and then obviously the old all-time high when we shot through and then came and bounced off this low to mid 20s. But long story short is, rather than just trying like I'm picking the bottom, somebody's ringing a bell and picking the bottom, I think what you ought to do now that we're here is have some limit orders, whether you do it like this, right? A little kind of trapezoid, maybe a small one just in case, and then have enough powder. Or maybe this is nice about those of us that are still working. If money's coming in, be prepared to dollar cost average into this one, right, into this one, if you're trying to build a position. And just know that we may never get here. Like this may not happen. Like this may be it. And so if we have a situation where I have limit orders here, maybe I have some here, and it starts to run away, CFI, SEFI, he says he's okay with either one. I like SEFI. A lot of people call him SEFI, but I think CFI is what it really is. He says he just kind of gives up on this. But again, he'll give up on these lower ones and just wait for it to come down. But for me, the risk of being unexposed is too high. So what I may do is I just roll some of these limit orders up. Well, I don't know why that's not. Oh, I know. It's a highlighter. Oh, I changed the pen size. So I might just roll. So like if we just shoot up here, I might just roll some of these limit orders up so that usually when things are trending upwards, it's a stair step, right? They make higher highs, higher lows. This one made a little scam wick, higher, lower low, but then it was higher high, higher low, and then similar low, right? and so there's volatility along the way. And what's nice is if you're dollar cost averaging, I might just structure these limit orders along the way. We'll just jump into Coinbase real quick. That's my on-ramp that I use. I know there's crypto.com. I started looking at it, and even though I don't have to convert wrap Luna to Luna, which by the way, I have a video on here if you want to convert wrap Luna to regular Luna, and how to do that. I find, like, I usually don't transfer it until I have 3 digits, like over 100 Luna. And I found that the gas fees aren't as high as they are with other DEXs, decentralized exchanges, where it's like $155 gas fees for swapping one coin for another. I found that I'm always paying 10 to 20. So if I'm doing, 100, 200 Luna lots before I transfer them in to the Terra station, which is what the video is all about, I don't think it's that big of a cost compared to, I noticed with crypto.com, even though I get 30 days free transactions with my debit card, I noticed there's a spread. Like the price of Luna on Coinbase was 55 something when I looked, and it was like 56 something on crypto.com. So they're taking a little spread. So you have to, free is not always free. You know this in life. Consider that when you're trading crypto too. Regardless, you can see I had a lot of limit orders filled. I have one for just 9 Luna at 51. You'll see that I've had some filled recently. I had 15 Luna filled with a trading with Bitcoin. So, and I know there's Bitcoin maxis out there that they're like, angels in heaven are crying because you sold some Bitcoin. But I have some Bitcoin, and I'm happy with the Bitcoin exposure I had, and I feel strongly about where Luna's going. So at any rate, I have that is open still, that if the ratio of Luna to Bitcoin, if I can trade 0.0011234 Bitcoin for 1 Luna, I'll take it. So looking back at this, you can see most recently I had a $55 order filled at 8. It's really just because I don't have a lot of cash flow coming in at the moment. I think I have some coming in later in the week. So I just kind of did some juggling to just get something on here. I did the Luna to Bitcoin at 116, 114. You remember, I think the one that's open is 11234. So, and again, I just look at these charts and do the same thing. So I bought some Luna there. You can see I had an order for 17 Luna filled at 53.89. Part of why that's bigger is because I actually didn't think we'd fall through the 55. And so I thought if we got down there, we might scam wick. So this is my order at 55. I was hoping we'd bounce here. You can see I had not as big of an order here, way up here at a different time. I thought, we're going to hold the mid 60s. So I had cash there. So I fired a pretty big order. Same thing here at the mid 60s. I thought we were going to hold that. So I fired some orders there. You can see what happened here where I bought Bitcoin is I put a good amount of money in, and I didn't have my limit orders filled, and Luna headed back off into the 70s. And I was like, well, I missed it. Bitcoin didn't pump as much, so I'll just get some Bitcoin, which turns out now Bitcoin's 47, so I'll lose a little bit of money there. But at least if I trade any of this, or when I did trade some of this recently, I will get some capital losses that I can offset future gains. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful for just understanding how to DCA in. As far as how to manage anchor, I'll just show that. I know not everybody's using leverage, and that's why I saved this till last. My anchor borrow, you can see I'm up at 41. I don't like to start with a 4 handle. The percentage isn't as important as the price down here. You can see the B Luna I have 37 is the estimated price that I'll get liquidated at, and I sure hope I don't, but that is the price. Like I said, I'd like to get that down to 35 or 33. Unfortunately, the amount I borrowed, even though I borrowed it to buy crypto, the value of crypto has gone down. But not only does the borrow amount stay the same, it actually goes up because this loan is accruing against it. So this borrow value will continue to creep up on you. And if your collateral value goes down, then obviously this LTV. Mine used to be in the 30s. Again, I'm not as attached to percentage as much as I am the price. So if I go back and look at this price, I can see 37. I'm right under, these last tested bottoms. And so that gives me a little bit of comfort, but I have a little bit of pause because this looks like pretty hard selling pressure. I know whales want in for cheaper. I know they have the muscle to throw their weight around to actually make this happen. So ideally, I'd like to get it under here. Don't know if that's possible with the amount of money I have coming in. Like if I have to buy the Luna, transfer it to the Terra station, bond it, swap it for bonded Luna, which, by the way, that's going to be a separate video talking about swapping from Luna to bonded Luna and some arbitrage plays there, but swapping it for bonded Luna and then posting that back as collateral on Anchor to bring this down. And then obviously the other thing that can help is the price of Luna. If the price goes up, then this number goes down. But hopefully just looking at all that together during a falling market helped y'all. Again, be careful using leverage. It is not for the faint at heart. There is obviously, there's extra rewards that can be gained, but there's a lot of extra risk, and just wanted to be transparent with you guys since I felt like I was a little late in the game with these tweets. Was really when Luna started getting away from me and it wasn't happening as fast as cash flow was coming in. I felt the need to kind of rob Peter to pay Paul with the borrow mechanism to ape in a little sooner. But you need to be careful, obviously, and hopefully this is a cautionary tale because a lot of people, this won't show me, but there's been a lot of liquidations of late when the price of Luna has fallen really quickly, like we've seen in these charts. Like when this happened, people got liquidated. And if you haven't seen my video on the orcas of Kujira, it's actually how to buy Luna at a discount. And unfortunately, you're buying it from the poor souls who over leverage. When this hits all the way to 60 and turns red, what Anchor does is they'll just liquidate you to here. They'll liquidate some of your B Luna. They'll just sell it to get you right back to 45, close enough, in the green. But there's not always the liquidity to do that. So Orca made this great platform where people post UST, and you could say how much extra Luna you're willing to accept. 4% extra Luna, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, the lower numbers get the first liquidations, and they're more likely to get filled. If you haven't seen my video, watch it. But I've seen, in fact, I might as well just show that because it's pretty cool. Let me just show you the time. During this one big fat scam weekend, let's see if we can zoom in on that. Let's see if the hour chart shows it. No, I think we're gonna have to see it in the 4 hour. Actually, yeah, here. So these are 4 hours. I could probably zoom in. Let's go back to hour. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, we're at 70 and fell all the way to here on December 4th. Was there another one? No, that was it. Yeah, that was it. It was after Thanksgiving. Over Thanksgiving, we double bottom, like I said, at that 38, right? And then Luna just went on a tear, and everybody's like, this is the greatest. Luna, yes, get to 100. And then whammo, right? Tons of people got liquidated here. And I happened to be up that night managing my LTV like a banshee. I keep money in different places that be Luna handy that I can go ahead and post quickly, but it doesn't earn any interest for me when it's here, but it does earn interest for me in the Nexus vaults and Terra swap. I'll probably do a separate video about that. There's more options coming, so I'm a little reluctant to do it now, but I just took it out of there, stopped earning interest to lower my LTV so that it didn't get liquidated, and I did not, thankfully. And I actually borrowed a little bit more because my LTV was pretty conservative once I took all that stuff, and I actually got some of this. Liquidated Luna from the orcas of Kujira. Here it is. So this was 9:28 p.m. I got filled, but I bid too low. The queue got cleared all the way to 9%, And then by 9:34, this is 6 minutes later, it got queued all the way to 12%. So this is $420,000. This is $5 million. This is $5.1 million. So over $10 million of Luna bids were filled pretty much at the dead bottom. I know this because these never got filled. So not only did you end up buying at the dead bottom, which doesn't always happen if you bid on lower amounts, but these people actually caught the falling knife at the dead bottom and got 12% more Luna. The flip side of that is people on Anchor got liquidated, and angels were crying when that happened. Anyway, I hope you found all this helpful. All the resources are in the chat below. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see upcoming videos. I just kind of make these as I'm inspired to, and we'll see you soon.